This is the
Hi,
New Canaan.
this is Megan Dan. Oh, go ahead.
This is the New Canaan Police Commission meeting, April 18th, 2023. Present is Commissioner Bennett, myself, Jim McLaughlin, and participating by Zoom is Paul Foley. So, first order of business is approval of the minutes from the prior meeting.
I didn't see anything
Me neither. How about you?
to change. Motion to approve then?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next order of business are the department monthly reports.
Monthly reports, budget we are tracking at 75%. You may see some of the overtime line items are a little high as of right now, but those are going to be adjusted towards the end of the fiscal year with the allotment that we got approved for security funding. So those will be offset towards the fiscal year. We've already spoken with finance regarding those, so we're going to be in good shape in those items.
Good.
Animal control and the dog pound are both tracking well right now.
Okay,
Monthly statistics. Didn't see any big anomalies this month. Everything seems to be
the only two that I noticed with a substantial increase were hazards, public call,
yeah.
and then also suspicious person vehicle.
The hazards that could have just been a storm related. If there's wires down, that sort of thing. We were 82 last year. We're at 112 this year, so I don't think it's anything.
Okay,
Any reason behind it. And then suspicious person, we were 74, then up to 122, and I think that hopefully as people are becoming a little bit more aware and they're seeing, suspicious people coming in their neighborhood or approaching houses, they'll call us and feel more comfortable to call us, which is a good thing.
okay,
We saw in the news recently there was somebody posing as a delivery person trying to do a home invasion. They actually had a package on and had a bright colored vest on, and they knocked on the door and tried to get in the house, but the homeowner forced them out. But I forget what town that was in. So the criminals are becoming more and more brazen and walking up, and it's harder and harder to identify who's who, but that's with that slight increases from.
okay,
Staffing levels, we're still in good shape. We have 2 officers that are on SRO. Obviously two SROs and then 1 school security, and then we have 1 officer. How many in the academy now? 2 in the academy now.
1 in each class.
1 in each class. 1's doing comparative training, and 1 FTO right now.
Yes.
So we're in the process of getting those people on the road and getting them working full shift. So hopefully that will help alleviate things and keep us running above minimum shift a little bit for a time. Right. And so we have 1 vacancy too, right? Because 1 officer resigned as of April 12th. So we're looking to fill that spot.
okay,
Extra duty agent is about the same.
Oh, fuck. Fucking tired. Fuck.
Excuse me? That wasn't you, chief.
No, it was not. No, that has.
I don't know what that was. Okay. I heard it.
Apologize for that.
Yeah.
Problem with doing so. Extra duty aging, no big surprises on there. Our big contractors are paying when they, their normal cycle, Eversource and Penna and Burns. Although they're large numbers, but they do pay, and it's just a matter of the billing cycle. All the other ones are pretty small. And that is it for reports.
Okay. Next order of business, the topics for discussion is the Chief DeFederico and Deputy Chief Walsh probationary period completed. I'd like to suggest that we vote to approve and confirm that that period is completed for both men. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next order of business, roadway and parking modifications for outdoor dining. And Tiger, we have a brief memo from you. Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Tiger Man, Director of Public Works. What we're looking to do this year is something similar to what we did last year, which was put in some bump outs into the street in front of a couple of the restaurants, Rosie's and Patisserie Salzburg, and then in front of Chef Louis. We've been using the white barricades to do that work. We've been researching alternatives, especially considering that people don't like the way that the white barricades look. And we came up with a rectangular concrete planter that is 32 inches wide, 32 inches tall, and 64 inches long. Weighs about just over a ton, 2,400 pounds. Very somewhat similar to the shape of or to the size of a temporary precast concrete barrier curb, only those are 8 feet long, and this would be just over 5. We feel that we can place those along the area instead of the white barricades, and they'll provide probably more safety for outdoor diners. And the fact that it can be planted is kind of nice, and it's a little bit of a different look than the white barricades. There's a little bit of a lead time on those, so we'd have to start with the white barricades, and when these came in about 6 to 8 weeks pending approval, we put them out at that point in time. And then the best part is we can remove them and then reuse them elsewhere in town or in subsequent years. But that's about it. It's very similar to what we wanted to do last year, or what we've done last year, and we'd have it in pretty much beginning of the season, and then take them out the week before Thanksgiving. Last year we took them out the week after Thanksgiving. That was a little wasn't well received, so we're thinking of going through to the last weekend of Thanksgiving, the last weekend before Thanksgiving, and having everything removed on that Monday to open up parking spaces for Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about the shopping. Right. That was the pushback.
That was the pushback. Yeah, it was a loss of the spaces of those areas at the time. So we that's the overall ask. I don't know if you have any other questions.
They don't come out. Whose budget did they come out of? Is that a Public Works
Yeah,
budget? Sorry.
we're about those. Yeah.
And how much are they? Out of curiosity.
They're not that expensive. Yeah, I knew you were gonna.
Yeah.
We were looking at a couple of different versions, but our town engineer liked this version since it's taller, 32 inches tall, which is the exact same height of a temporary precast concrete barrier curb. I think they were around $600 to $1,000 a piece, and then but then they should last a long time. They have threaded inserts, and then they've got picking holes, so we can actually then lift and move, right? So they we can transport them where we want, and then if there's other events going on that you'd like to see the protection, we can actually utilize these for that.
I see, is that Laura that I see?
Yes, I'm here, and Adam from Soleil is here because his 2 restaurants would be affected by this too. So, I let everybody know, and we think this is important. We like it. It gives a great vibrancy to downtown. And I think that having them up through the summer and early fall, but as Tiger said, if the parking could be returned back to, before Thanksgiving, that would be ideal. But, we think this is a big plus for downtown.
Is this where the sidewalks then get increased? Is that what the issue is?
Yeah. That's a good question. So the stretch in front of Soleil, there's a piece that'll be done. We're just waiting on we've got to finish some work at the Playhouse,
Mhm.
and then we'll finish the bump out there. It actually extends just past the 25-foot zone where the hash marks are. Then it dives back in again all the way through. We are looking at the possibility of extending the bump outs, I guess you would call east and west of what we've done so far. This year, we're planning to finish in front of the Playhouse and then do across the street as originally planned. So in front of the Bank of America, and then on the intersections of South and Elm to do that there. And then that will actually add back in 5 parking spaces that we've lost. So we'll actually go back to a net of 0 at that point, which is a plus. But then we were looking at extending the areas that we're talking about now, doing in a temporary basis. We are looking at the possibility of extending them on a permanent basis, but that we need to receive direction from the commission and from P&Z and from others to proceed with that.
Okay, so the bump outs then in front of Soleil will be done, what, a month or so, you think?
A little bit longer than that, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, but
okay.
we'll put in the temporary ones, and then they'll be able to utilize the area. It's
Right.
just the permanent ones are right now we're finalizing the work. We have to finalize the floor height in the Playhouse, and then that's going to drive the exterior height, since the doors has to be flush. That's going to drive the
Got it.
exterior height of the sidewalk. At that point in time, then I can put the sidewalk in. We're just finalizing the floor height of the Playhouse.
Oh, okay.
So, that's I just have to coordinate the two, and the Playhouse is going to set the sidewalk grade at that point in time, and then we have ample grade to run out at that point.
Okay, and then we're gonna do in front of Dunkin' Donuts, or where Dunkin' Donuts was?
That's correct. Yeah, that was part of the pedestrian improvements
Yeah.
through there, and that.
And
Go ahead.
in front of Bank of America, et cetera,
Yeah.
those, that sort of section, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that section, and then at South and Elm on both sides, and then that'll help out where the new Dunkin' Donuts is going to go, because that'll allow us to put in 2 15-minute parking spaces that we had discussed prior there, and then since we'll be able to kind of squeeze in on the 25-foot zone for the intersection and the crosswalk, we'll get back 5 spaces. So the spaces that we actually lost on the northern side will gain back when we do the southern side.
Okay, I think was the commission gonna look at that intersection one more time? And
Yeah, I
Chief,
think
help me out here, because I
Yeah,
thought we were gonna,
I
Yeah.
I
think
think
we
there
were
was
gonna
some
look at,
some turning issues or
Right.
something.
We looked
Right.
at it with the fire department, and they're
Yep.
gonna come back out again and
Good.
run it for us, but their initial read was that they felt it was fine. But Dobby's gonna come out and run that radius for us. We did the turning radii, so we did calculations on the turning radii and plotted it. And a left-hand turn from Elm Street onto South works for a larger truck, and then from South Avenue, left-hand turn onto Elm works as well.
I think we have to see it, mark it with some cones and actually see it before we broke ground. I think that was.
yeah, and I think we were going to defer a final decision on exactly what we did with those bump outs. There were ways that we thought they might be modified a bit. So
We're a little limited because we're trying to coordinate with Eversource. They're doing a lot of work on the underground vaults, specifically in that area. So we're trying to work with them on our plan to make sure that they can modify their structures to ours. But we were, if the thought was that we had to narrow them down a little bit or shorten them, we could do that. But right now the turning radii works. In my discussions with the fire chief and the fire marshal, they were in favor of the work. But we, as the chief mentioned, we're gonna cone it and then have them actually make the turns. and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, there's some other concerns as well. So when do you need from us a final approval on what we're doing there?
To be honest, I thought I already had it, but
Well, as I said, I think we
That's fine.
deferred on that part of it, because it wasn't being done for quite a while and we had some concerns about.
that's fine. I don't need it right now. The granite won't be here until, we already ordered the granite, so the granite won't be here until July. Then, I need the granite material to work, so, but we can kind of accommodate whatever you're thinking as to, if you want to be out there, view it, and if you want to have a commission meeting at the time that we do it, we could work around your schedule at that point.
Okay, I think what I would suggest, if there's concurrence from the other commissioners, is that we put it on the agenda for next month. We go back and revisit and look at those. It's been a while since we looked at it. We had pictures and diagrams and so forth, and give us an opportunity to revisit what the concerns may have been, and the diagrams and the pictures and so on, and then plan to reach some sort of consensus, hopefully at our next meeting.
That's fine. Do you want to have a site visit like we did prior? We did a walkthrough at one point.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, when you
Yeah.
put the cones out next week, the next couple weeks, that'd be great. Give us a couple dates and.
You tell me and we'll make it work. Let's put it that way.
Why don't we impose, as we always do, on Jennifer, and we'll send
Right.
her, each of us send her some dates that were available, and coordinate with Tiger.
That's fine. Yeah, and then we'll post, we'll put it out there the way it's planned, and then we can have. We did it on 4th Street. We drove fire trucks through. We drove plow trucks through. We drove emergency vehicles through it.
Right.
The interesting thing was that for the 4th Street one, the only people who were inconvenienced were the DPW. My large truck couldn't make it down the street anymore, so we had to modify our plowing. But yeah, just tell us when, and we'll put it all out, and then have everybody navigate the intersection.
Okay,
Great, but it's my understanding then everything else moves forward, right? We're all in agreement on that? On the east side and the west side of the street? In front of Soleil and then in front of Bank of America. We're all in agreement on that, right?
yeah,
Commissioners? Yeah.
I think those were already approved.
Okay, yep, I think so too. Good. Adam, anything? Come on, we gotta hear from you.
I love it. I think it's going to be great. We're excited to be in the planning process of a new restaurant, as some of you may know, next door to Soleil. And I've been working with Tiger a little bit about that. I'm curious about the big tree in front of Soleil with regard to the bump out. That's a really pretty old tree there. Would that be removed?
Not at present, no. We're
Okay.
trying to keep everything that we possibly can.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we lost one in front of the Elm Restaurant. We were able to replace it, but we lost one of the large ones there. It was in decline. The one in front of your store right now is actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah, that's cool. The bump out will commence at the crosswalk and run past the new restaurant, past Soleil, and then come back into the existing sidewalk. Where exactly?
That probably at the end of your property line, where you I think that's what we did last time. I think we went to the end of your property line and then came in from there. And then we bumped back out again for Chef Louis, I believe.
I was referring to the new proposed permanent bump out.
The permanent one it almost extends towards the tree. It doesn't actually pass by Soleil at present.
Okay.
It goes 25 feet from the intersection. So in 25 feet from the crosswalk headed westbound. I can send you a plan of it if you'd like to see it with the dimensions so you can tell exactly where it's going.
That'd be great if you wouldn't mind.
No problem.
I, of course, am in favor of the bump outs, temporary or permanent. I think they're great for the town, and if I can aid in facilitating any of the grievances of residents or retail for parking, whatever, I'm happy to acquiesce. So I think we're all trying to be partners in the bump outs.
Okay, so we began this discussion with the proposal to approve outdoor dining in front of Rosie's, the Patisserie, and Chez Louis for the period from April, I don't know when it says 15, but we're past that date, through the week prior to Thanksgiving. Should we, is there any more discussion, or can we have a vote on that piece of it? Ready?
I'm okay. I'm good with that.
Just make sure you add in front of Soleil as well. I know it just got left off at the beginning. So it's all of those, in front of Soleil, until the permanent goes in. That would be the only.
Okay.
So it's Rosie's, Patisserie, Soleil, and Chef Louis, all on, what is that, the northern side of Elm Street.
Correct. Okay. All right, gonna get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
thanks, Tiger.
The,
Thanks, Laura.
Next order of business is the Main Street accessible parking relocation.
Right.
We had already this in prior.
As we-
meeting. It was just something that we haven't executed yet. It's just kind of a follow-up, so.
Okay,
As part of the larger repainting and the loading zone modifications that we did. and
Right.
That was all part of that discussion.
okay,
So this has already been discussed and approved. It was to put accessible parking on each side of the street. Currently, there's 2 spaces on the firehouse side of the street,
right,
and there's not one on the town hall side. So this puts one on the town hall side, one on the firehouse side of the street.
okay. Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, motion to approve.
All right.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you.
We move to the Dunkin' Donuts request, very near and dear to policemen's hearts.
Easy.
Do they have
That's,
parking designated to them now that they? Not that there was ever a parking designated to Dunkin' Donuts, but I feel like people would just pull up right there. Is there parking over
Well,
here?
that's part of what Tiger was talking about. So where do you kind of see the tent? That's gonna be what the bump outs are
15
gonna
minute-
allow us to put short-term parking there. So it won't necessarily be designated solely to Dunkin' Donuts, but it'll allow vehicles to park.
How many
Sure.
spots?
Tiger, do you remember?
2.
think
Oh,
it's
he's
2.
he's left 2. Okay, 2 15-minute spots.
Yeah, 2 15-minute spots, sorry.
And that was kind of the concept behind those bump outs, and that South and Elm was gonna allow us to accommodate short-term parking.
all right, so I'm sorry. So this is are we talking about the tent? Here?
Yeah, talking about the bump outs, yeah.
And there's a date and time written on it? When do they want to do it? When's the opening?
Yeah, there's no date and time.
It's May 20th. And it actually coordinates really well. We're hosting our Food Revolution, which is kind of a food tour around New Canaan. It's the chamber sponsors it. It's being run by a local nonprofit and sponsored by Berkshire Hathaway. And it happened to work out really well that Dunkin' is planning their grand opening that day. And what they're requesting is having, you see the picture, having a tent right there in that dead zone is the wrong expression, but there's no parking there. So they can hand out samples and swag and all the rest to their, to customers and people doing the stroll. They've got a whole promotion plan for the event. And because that tent can't go on the sidewalk, they want to put it up flush up against the curb. Customers would access whatever's happening in the tent from the sidewalk side. I did run it by Tiger this morning, and he seemed to feel it was okay. It was still within the zone. I would also ask Mo's to bring some barriers or those white picket fence so that the back side of the tent would be protected from the traffic.
Right, yeah, so somebody doesn't sort of back into Elm Street, walking
Right.
backwards or something, and talking or gets distracted.
Exactly,
Right, yeah,
exactly.
okay. Yeah.
And so the picture you have just shows, that they would put their balloon arch up and have the tent. It would just be a few hours on that morning.
What time does it start?
Hold on, Megan, are you there? Megan, who's 8:45 to 12:30.
Boy, we're gonna have to get there early.
If you want the swag, Paul, if you want the swag.
Always want swag.
Yeah, the event will run 9:30 to 12:30, but they'll be setting up starting at 8:45. They didn't need the whole pop-up park space, but they did want to have, make a splash of it.
Okay.
May 20th is okay, Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the request for Dunkin' Donuts to put the tent and the other items pictured in front of the store on May 20th from 8:45 till 12:30?
Go ahead, Shakira.
Okay,
I'll second.
second, okay, all in favor?
Hey.
Okay, approved.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Laura.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
You too.
Okay. Route 123 speed limit reduction update.
Yeah, so that was the request from a year ago, 2 years, maybe at least a year ago,
At least.
where we requested the state DOT to look at Route 123 and make it consistent throughout at 40 miles an hour. Currently, only the middle section is 40 miles an hour, the southern end is 45, and the northern end is 45. They took well over a year to analyze it and came back and basically said they're not going to change anything. They need to change to extend the 40-mile-an-hour zone a little bit further south of Lakeview area, but that was it. They were gonna not change.
I may be misremembering, but I thought we had not decided to change it, but maybe I'm misremembering.
No, we made the request
We did,
to
okay,
change it all consistent to 40.
yeah,
Because it's all residential area, it's all residential roads, people are
okay,
pulling out of their driveways into a.
Right.
On the northern end, they're pulling out into a 45-mile-an-hour passing zone, which is incredibly dangerous. But unfortunately, the state only looks at motor vehicle analytics, and if there's no accidents, they don't tend to
Okay.
want to do anything.
okay,
So we're a little frustrated with the outcome. We're not pleased with it, but there's really no recourse for us. Tiger and I had a conference call with the technician that looked at it, and he basically said that
okay,
the state is ruling on it, and that's it.
okay,
Yeah, there's actually no appeal.
There is no appeal process.
okay,
So
I'm
Did
just
it
glad
come
they
out-
took,
you-
I'm just glad they took a whole year to decide this. I think it's
exactly.
wonderful,
Yeah, they
wonderful use of time.
do a site visit. They did not contact us. Yeah,
Sorry.
It was actually, you got to give credit to Jennifer, because I would get a phone call from the resident. I would call Jen, and then she would call, and then,
Yeah.
basically kind of push the thing along. And, without that extra push, I think it would have taken longer.
yeah, so they did come out and visit, and when I asked them, I said, well, why didn't you ask us to go with you? We could give you some insight, local insight as to what we're experiencing, and he said, well, they don't do that because they don't want to bias the outcome of their review, which I didn't realize.
That's
With
bizarre.
information.
I thought we could provide information. So.
Okay.
Right, but then he did ask John for information and his view on it, which was, you didn't allow him to go out there and tour it with us. We couldn't go out there and tour it with them, but then they were asking our input after. I was like,
Wanted
that's really
traffic
out.
down after
Yeah.
that, after he said that they basically already decided.
So if we have enough accidents, then they'll change their mind or review it again, I guess.
Maybe. I don't-
Maybe.
Frustrated.
Gotta love them.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah.
Letters of appreciation.
So there's a few this month. First I have from Brian Mitchell for Lieutenant D. Police Sergeant Callahan and Officer Clark for their participation in the peer interview process. Their assistance was greatly appreciated. Next one was for Officer Cece. This came from the CERT volunteer group. She presented one evening and was helped teach a class there and give some insight to what we do in the police department. So that was helpful. Next up is from Lieutenant Moringa to Sergeant Callahan. They did a fantastic job with an investigation of a motor vehicle stop and recovered multiple bags of cocaine, ecstasy, drugs, and some cash and a large amount of marijuana. And the suspect was apprehended. So it was a great, good work, good investigative skills, good heads up work by Callahan on that investigation. Very good job.
And Chief, that was all in town, right?
That's
I-
correct.
I
Yeah.
just hope people understand that this stuff does
Yeah.
happen in town when everybody thinks,
It was in the area of Merritt Parkway, but so, we did
Yeah.
a state police, but we were called initially to the area. So did happen in the can, yeah. That's not-
right? Which
Happened
is,
here.
it's happening here and it's happening more often. And it's just more of a reason to have a fully functional training center for things like this.
Absolutely. And
Okay,
the letter of commendation for Officer Coughlin. She responded to a medical call at Liberty Park. The gentleman was very appreciative of her response and her quick response. The care that she rendered along with the MS person. It was a good job for her.
Okay,
That.
any other matters? Then why don't we take a quick vote to move to executive session? All in favor?
I,
Okay, let's go to executive session.
Okay.
We ready? Okay, we're coming out of executive session. We've interviewed and discussed the 4 candidates for the position of captain. And I think we'll now vote on a motion to make Joseph Faranga the new captain. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Very good.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
No further business being in front of us. I guess we'll adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay.